Hello and welcome to today's video. Uh, we've come so far with our access classes, and today's class is going to be extremely interesting because today we're going to continue from where we stopped yesterday. We are in yesterday we are able to learn how to create tables, and then we were able to learn also how to create data types, appropriate data types for our tables. Now today's video we are going to learn how to format these data types. Now you know that we have different kinds of data types. We have text, which can be short text, long text. We have numbers, which can be also long number. We have calculated, we have lookup wizard, we have hyperlink, and so on and so forth. Now today we are going to look at how can we format these data types for them to display a message that we inputted, or maybe we want our user to put in specific values, or maybe we don't want the user to select anything. By default, we want whenever the user enter data, something is supposed to be there. Today we are going to we are going to look at how to format these data types, and then we are going to see how we can make our access more fun. Now, what we are supposed to learn today is one, we're going to learn how to change a field format. So we're going to change it to, let's say, date, and then maybe if the date, we change it to a long date, a short date, different formats we can have. We're going to also learn how to apply an input mask. You will learn what an input mask and then how to apply an input mask. We are also going to learn how to set a default value, something that we know that our users cannot change. That one is always there in the data. We're also going to learn how to set a validation rule. So if we don't want people to enter certain things into our data, we want to restrict them as to what they are going to enter. Say if we have a bank, for example, and we want our user to enter amount from 30,000 to 40,000 in whatever currency, we can set that validation rule. That is what you call a validation rule. And then if the user enters something that is more than that one, we have to give a message to the user to show that what they have entered is not the correct thing. And finally, in today's video, we are going to learn how to create what we call a lookup wizard. So say for example, we have our gender. Our gender can be male or female. How do we do this for someone to be able to select male or female? Or say we want someone to select from list of cities. How do we do that so that they can be able to have a drop-down menu that can be able to give them their list of cities? These are the things that we are going to learn in today's video. Now, as we all know, we already created this table yesterday. Make sure you don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and also share it to your friends in other schools. Share it to people that that are enthusiastic about learning IT, getting a skill. Share this video to them so that they will be able to learn. Now, as we did yesterday, we created this database wherein we created all these tables for classes, tables for enrollments, tables for students, tables for subjects, tables for teachers. Now, when we created these tables, we came to create, then we went to our view, wherein we looked at our design view. So say, for example, our classes, we have our design view, or our student, we go to our design view, we have these kind of things. That is, if it's our student, we have the design view for our student. We are in the student ID is auto number, first name is short text, last name is short text, gender short text, date and time, date of birth is also date and time, and then class ID is a foreign key inside of the student's table. Now, let's start first with the first thing that we want to learn today in our formatting data types. We want to change a field format. So say for example, we have our date of birth. Our date of birth is set as date and time. Now, if we come to our design view, we can see down this end here where you have field properties. Inside field properties, we have their format, we have input marks, we have caption, we have default value, we have validation rule, we have validation text, we have if it's a required field we are in, we know that someone is not supposed to skip it, they must enter it. We can make it as a required field, index that is numbered, and then all these other ones, including our text alignment. That is whether our text is going to be right, distributed, center, etc. etc. Now, what we want to do here in our first one, we want to change our field format. We don't want the date that is displaying. If let's say, for example, we enter a date here. Let's say today's date. This is how it will display. We don't want this to display in this way. We want it to display in another way. Say we want the November to be spelled, or we want the July to be spelled out. First thing we'll do is we'll come to our design view. When we come to our design view, we have our date of birth. This is what we are interested in changing. We will come to our field properties, then we come to format. When you come to format, you will see a drop down menu like this, wherein we have general date, that is, it will come like this, the date and the time. Long date, it will come, spell it out fully. Medium date, short date, long time, medium time, and short time. So if I am interested in something like this, let's say medium date, 12 November 2015, I can just click on this one, that is medium date, or my short date. So I can click on my medium date. You can see the format has changed to medium date. Then I can save it. Always don't forget to save. Control S to save. And if I come back here and I enter my date of birth, you see it instantly changes to 2nd June 2025. You can see that 2nd June 2025. If I don't want this kind, always I can go back to my design view, change my this medium date, so my field properties format, my medium date instead, maybe let's say I want it to go to long date, I can put it as long date, then I save. So after saving, then I can double click on this one. If I come again to date of birth and then click on this one, you can see I refresh my data, it shows here 2nd June 2025. It is given completely. All the dates is given completely. So if it is in November, it will give it completely. So that is how we are able to change a field format. This can work also for currency. Say we don't have it for date and time, we have it for currency. We can be able to change the currency to what we want it to be. So if our data is not on date and time, we want it is on number, we can change that currency and then change it to whatever we want. But always don't forget to save your work. Control S. Now the next thing that we want to learn is how to apply an input mask. Now, input marks is very important because this is the one that you can be able to tell your viewers exactly how you want your data to be entered. So, anyhow you want your data to be entered, you can be able to tell your users exactly how you want the data to be entered. So, to apply an input marks, what I will always do, same thing, go to your design view, and then I'm going to add one more field. So let's say I add a field that is called phone number. So I'll call this field phone number. Now in this field, I will always set it. When you want to input, get an input marks, always set your data type to be short text. If it's not short text, you cannot be able to get input mask. So make sure that if you want to put an input mask, make sure always it is short text. Then I will come down at this point here where my field properties is, and then I come to my input mask. If I come to my input mask, I will click on these three dots that I see here. Can you see where my mouse is? I'll click on these three dots that I see here. If I click on these three dots, I have this wizard, input mask wizard. I will click on open. Then it prompts me to save. I will say yes. And then I have options here. What kind of input marks do I want? Do I want a phone number input marks? Do I want a social security number input marks? A zip code input marks? An extension input marks? A password input marks? And so on and so forth. So say since it's phone number, I want a phone number input marks. I will put here next. Now here, I am going to now put how I want my input marks to be. How I want my input marks to be. Now in this case, I am going to put how I want the input marks to be. Say for example, I want when my user they are entering their data, their phone number, the phone number is to be entered in this kind of way, wherein they enter the first three digits and then they enter the first four digits. I will do it exactly like this one. So I'll put 000 and then hyphen 0000. Now this 00 clearly shows that it's a required digit. So this one tells the computer that it's a required digit. The person is supposed to enter this particular digit. It's holding a space for something. If you put something like 9, let's say I put 9999999, that simply means that it's an optional digit. The person can put it or not put it. If I put it 0000000, that simply means if the user does not input it this particular way, what is going to happen is it's going to give an error message. And then if I put, let's say for example, L in front, that one is simply going to show that it's a required letter. A required letter. Or if I put question mark, then that shows that it is an optional letter. So if I want to test how my input marks will look like, I will just put it like this. So you see, this is how it will look like. There will be space for them to enter. Say I don't want it to be dash 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 like this. I will come to my placeholder character. Then I will select which of these ones will be in the placeholder. So I can put it like this. Then I can come and try it. And you can see it's showing here hash 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 and then hyphen hash 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 hash. Now if I click on my next, it is giving me whether I want it to be displayed with the symbol or without the symbol. So I want it to be displayed with the symbol. I'll click on that one. If I don't want it without the symbol, I'll click on that one. Then I can click on next. Then I click on finish. And then remember, I save. Always don't forget to save. You have to always save. Now if I come back to my table here, I want to enter a phone number. Do you see what pops up? It shows me the format in which I am supposed to enter. First, I enter 3 numbers. Then after that, I enter 4 numbers. So say my number is, let's say, 111. See, it goes to the next one. And then 3333. See, I get exactly my phone number. How my phone number is supposed to be. So this is how an input max is. Input max just shows your user how they are supposed to enter their data. It guides them on how they are supposed to enter their data. And you can do input max for different things. Say you want them to enter, let's say for example, their first name, then after a number, or their initials, and then after a particular number, you can use an input max. So we have seen how input max is done. Let's move on to the next part, which is to set a default value. We want whenever the user comes in, the person is just going to get a default value. Instantly, it will be a default value. For this one, I am going to use my classes table. So, classes table, I can be able to get there my class name and then my year group. Or I can use my enrollment table, which has my student ID and then subject ID and then the term. Let's use our enrollment table. We will go to view, design view, and then what do we want to change so that it does not change at all? It has to be a default value. So I want my term, let's say for example, I want it only to be like first term. All my students that are registering only in the first term. I don't want them to register for any other term but the first term. So I will always click on my term. So you have to click on always the data type, then come to your field properties. Then when you come to your field properties, you will see all these ones here, all these things. What you are going to come to is your default value. Now, when you come to your default value, you are going to click on these three codes here. You are now going to enter your default value here. What do I want my students to have? Always term 1. They should not enter that one. By default, it should go to term 1. So for me to enter my default value, always, it follows a pattern. I will put a quotation mark, then I put term 1, then I end it with a quotation mark. Then I can now click on OK. So it simply means that all my students, they are just going to have this default value of term 1. The moment they enter anything, they will have a default value of term 1. I will save it. Now, if I come to this one immediately, you see, instantly there is term 1. If I go to another one, say for example, I want to enter another new student, I can go, when it goes, it will get term 1 again. Another new student, term 1. So they will not be able to enter this one. It just gives them a default value, term 1. They will not be able to change it. It's the default value is term 1. Then remember always to be saving. So that's how you enter a default value. The next thing that we want to look at is how to set a validation rule and a message. If we want or we don't want our user to enter a number or a particular thing that is more than a particular range of values, we can always do that. We can always do those kind of things. Say for example, in our classes, we don't want our classes to go, the people that are in our class, we don't want them to go more than, let them be more than 7 years, and they should be less than, let's say, 18 years. Those are the range of students that we want. Students that are more than 7 years, but they are less than 18 years or equal to 18 years. I will come to my classes, click on view, then go to design view. Then in my year group, I will click on my year group. I will change my data type. This time, I'm not going to get it as short text. I'm going to get it as number. Now, when I change it to number, I am now going to come now to my validation rule, where my field properties is. I come to the validation rule. In my validation rule, I'll click on my three dots here. Then I'm going to enter my validation rule. What I want them to be either greater than, let them be more than 7, and they should be less than or equals to 18. So I want them to be greater than 7 years, or let's say they can be 7 years. We can enroll people that are 7 years. So this is how we write our greater than or equals to. So greater than or equals to 7 years. And then we say and, A-N-D, you spell it out, and then we put there less than or equals to, what do we want it to be less than or equals to? We want it to be less than or equals to 18. Then I can now click on OK. You can see I now have a validation rule. If someone does not put this validation rule, what is going to be the error message that the person will have? The error message that the person will have is now going to be that you are ineligible to enroll. So this is what we are going to have, and always you enclose it in a quotation mark. You are ineligible to enroll. Then I will just save it. Don't forget to always save. If I now come to my class here, my year group, if I enter the value, let's say I enter 7, it is going to take 7. If I come to my year group and say I enter 19, you see, it gives me my error message. You are ineligible to enroll. So with my error message, I can now click on OK, and then I can now put the correct age. So that is how that happens. So with that, I can put the correct age, which it now allows. So that is how you set a validation rule and message. You can have different kind of validation rules. If it's money, you can tell your users, let's say, for example, it's a cashier that is doing this one. You want to make a database for a supermarket or a bank wherein you cannot withdraw more than a particular amount of money. So we can put this validation rule wherein if anyone, let's say we don't want them to withdraw more than 10,000, so we can get our range from 0 to 10,000, greater than 0, but then less than or equals to 10,000. So if someone wants to withdraw more than 10,000 now, then it will give them that error message that they cannot withdraw that amount in a day. So that's how we use our validation rule. The final one now that we are going to have, final one for today, is going to be now our lookup wizard. So the final one, we are going to learn how to create a lookup wizard. Now, lookup wizard is wherein we want our users, those entering our database, to enter a particular data. We want to give them an option that they should choose from. They cannot just enter anything that they feel like. We want to give them an option that they will choose from. How do we go about that? It's quite simple. I'm using my student table for this one. I go to view, design view, and then say the gender, I want it to only be male, female. So short text, I come to, I'm going to change this short text to lookup wizard, the data type. I'll change it from short text to lookup wizard. So when I change it to lookup wizard, I have something that pops up like this. I click on open. When I click on open, it will say I want the lookup field to get the values from another table or query. No, that's not what I want. I will type in the values that I want. I will select this option. I will type in the values that I want. Click on next. Then inside this point here, I am now going to type in the values that I want. I want them to select either male or female. Then when I am done, if I have more things, I can put them in there. I click on next. That's okay. I just click on finish. Now, when I'm done, I will click on save. Then I will come to my student back. If I come here, you see instantly under gender, I have there a drop down arrow where I can select. If I am a male, I select male. If I am a female, I select female. See how easy it is? Very simple. I can even do this for my classes. Say, for example, my class names, I want them to be class 1 to class 10 or class 12. I will easily come, view, design view. Then I am going to change my class name. Click on the class name data type. Change it to lookup wizard. So I click here. I will type in the values that I want. Go to next. Then what do I want? I put here grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, and grade 6. Then I'll click on next and finish. Then if I save, come to my class, if I come to class name, I have all this. I can select one of them. You see how beautiful Lookup Wizard is. So viewers, don't forget to like, subscribe if you have made it this far, and practice, because when you practice, you become better. These are all questions that WAEC can set. So practice, and then you will only become better. Until we meet again in our next class, where we are going to learn something else that is fun and interesting. I am your tutor, Mr. Campbell. Thank you all for watching this video to the end.